Greetings, church. Today is October 1st, 2022. This is the second video of the day. This is an update to the video that you just watched on me being downtown Portland outside of my storage unit. I just came from the east over that way and got one of these from an Hallgate church. Which is here on, let's see, this is Hallgate and 64th, East 64th right here. And I'm across the street from Laurelwood Park. So this street here is Hallgate, and that's Southeast 64. And about 2 blocks down over there is this church that I entered into. I needed to get communion bread and cup because I just lost it. The Lord had directed me to Hallgate and 79th. There is an Essex Park there. He was going to show me a mobile home to purchase, but there are some people at the park playing baseball, and when I got there, he basically told me that they were the church, but I didn't know that it was a setup. Okay, I didn't know that it was a setup, and that I had eaten lunch. I had gone to what's the name of the store here? I had gone to this store here, let's see, and bought some food, used their restroom. Extra Mile, I think the name of the store is. And so I needed to, yeah, Extra Mile. Here's you can see the logo here, Extra Mile. So anyway, I went in there, got some food, and I needed to use the restroom. So I went over there and got this, okay. When I got to the bathroom, it was set up. They had an American woman inside of the restroom. I'm not sure if she was really using or not. I don't think she was. I think it was just part of the setup. Outside was this American who was wearing a shirt that I was supposed to understand that I had once worn when I was in the Nanuet group home, but I didn't see it that way. And for some reason, the guy left, and I was waiting for about 5 minutes or so. The woman comes out 5 minutes later, and then I go in to use. And as I'm using, the door knocks once, and I tell them that I'm coming out. Just give me a minute or so. The door knocks a second time, it's a little bit louder. And I'm like, okay, these people are being very impatient because I'm not done yet. And then they start banging and kicking the door. And I thought, okay, now we're dealing with a KLAN, because all of those people at the park were Americans. And I thought, okay, now I'm gonna either get jumped by the group, beat up by the group, and so I got to get out of here. So I went and washed my hands, flushed the toilet, and walked out. And the guy it's his wife that needed to use the restroom, and she told him back down. He and I had altercation, and I told him, and he left. He went left, I went right, and he gave me the middle finger. And I told him I apologize. I didn't know that the Ku Klux Klan was in this area. If I had known, I would have avoided coming and using this bathroom. So from the time that I left to now, I spoke to them in an English accent and to remind them of who they were, unfortunately, as the British. And I said some things I probably shouldn't have said, God forgive me for that, as a reminder of, them not wanting Africans, niggers in the area, and so on and so forth, because I didn't know if they were going to come after me or not. I didn't know if I was going to get attacked. I'd never had this kind of experience and response from a baseball, from a group, especially one whom the Lord says was his church. And so anyway, I walked away, and I passed about 3 or 4 churches. There was a deaf church building, and I signed to them that I was a preacher and that I believed in Jesus. And in this church here, over there, the doors were wide open. I told them that MacArthur was a hermaphrodite. I didn't know that the doors were open, so I'm kind of embarrassed at the whole thing, And they had a man and a woman, an elderly man and woman, and a tall fella. He was probably about like 6'7", the size of not baseball player, but more or less like a basketball player. He was huge. And so he invited me, and I asked him if he had a cup. He offered me 2 foam white cups, and I said no. I needed the cup of the bread and blood. And so I took communion. He prayed with me. Shook the hand of one of the elders, and he and his wife were there. And after that, I walked away, and I'm here now at this location. And the Lord basically says, no more house searching in the Hallgate area. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but I sort of felt like I needed to say something because I didn't know that I was going to be opposed and looking for, housing. Here it is right there. Dustin Obermeyer, Windermere Real Estate. Every time I go in that direction right there, MacArthur and this Haitian woman, Gabrielle, somehow or another, they find it, it's like they go after, they want to go after my property. And I don't think that's right. I don't belong to John. I'm not John's slave. And I'm not John's property. So I don't want the American people to think that I'm going to make myself a subject to this guy, because I'm not. And so I don't know where this is going. That means anybody that I talk to, anybody that I run into, could be representing the Master Seminary and Grace Community Church, and eventually, somebody's going to end up getting killed. Somebody's going to end up getting hit, because MacArthur is very influential, and he doesn't come down for anyone, and I don't live that way for anybody. And so if you know the situation, keep it in your prayers. Bring it up before Jesus and see what he wants you to do as a church member. If you need to get involved, because I sort of feel like everybody needs to get involved now. I sort of feel like everybody needs to get involved because of the division and this unity that has taken place between myself and Grace Community Church, and between myself and the African American community and so many others. I sort of feel like the church needs to step in and say something to this clan and to this group of people, who is telling the world that they are they are training lives as if, they're training men as if lives depended on it. I don't feel like this is training. I feel like this is torture. I don't feel like this is the will of God. I feel like this is something that Satan has put in the heart and in the mind of John to do against me, because I'm a Haitian Cuban. And I think you as a church, if you love God and you love the unity of the church, you need to step in and say something to John. Maybe bar him out of your state. Tell we're the state directly above California, and at some point there's got to be a point where you separate a brother and say, hey, you can't come in here with your baggage. You can't come in here with all of this hate that is in you, being passed on from community to community. You can't give your baggage to the community to give to Kevin anymore. And that's enough. Stop sinning. And like I said to them last night, sin and Satan are holding hands. And I sort of feel like MacArthur's holding the hand of sin and Satan, and so is Gabriel Franklin. So somebody has to say something to them. Or else, what's the point of claiming to be the Lord's church if this disunity continues? This insult between myself and a pastor of the church, this insult between me and these people whom I do not know, that are supposed to be representing his school, right? Essex, the word there, it's a professor that was at the seminary, right? Dr. Essex. And any kind of contact with MacArthur becomes overtly sensitive to, you can't have nothing to do with us as a family, you can't talk to us, and so on and so forth. In any case, I got to get going here, but keep me in your prayers and I'll keep you in mind.